Hello, welcome to another episode of Liam's Daily Reviews. Today I will be reviewing Just After Sunset, a short story collection by Stephen King. Now, I won't do the entire book. I'm going to just pick 4 stories out of there, which are my favourite. And if you're going to read this book, I recommend starting right at the start with the first story, Willa. Now, Willa, I think, is a love story about a couple stranded at a train station. And the story has ghostly themes. It's very beautifully written with a really cool twist. That's all I'll say about that because I don't want to give too much away about Willa. It's one of his better short stories. And then the very next story in the collection is called The Gingerbread Girl. Now, I really love this. Anytime I pick up this book, the first thing I do is flip to The Gingerbread Girl and read that. I've read it over and over and over. It's a story about a woman named Emily who loses her baby to cot death. It degrades her marriage. She ends up leaving her husband and she starts running. Now, it's a metaphor, of course. She's running away from her grief. She runs everywhere. She runs around ovals. She runs around the whole neighborhood. She runs so much that she loses so much weight, and her father starts to get very worried about her. Now, her dad owns a house on an island in the Florida Keys. So he suggests she stay there for a month to try to get herself together. So she agrees and stays there for a month. Now, the first 2 weeks, she's running up and down the beach all day, crying at night and getting her grief out. It's quite therapeutic until she bumps into the island's other resident, a very scary man who has done something terrible, and Emily stumbles across his secret and he gives chase, but you can't catch the gingerbread girl. So he's chasing the wrong girl, and it's this cat and mouse chase across the whole island with this really cool ending, and it's so fast paced and such a thrill ride of a story. It's a bit longer than a short story, but shorter than a novella, but it's a great read. The third one I'm going to talk about is The Cat from Hell. I first saw this in a movie called Tales from the Dark Side, where a hitman has been hired to kill someone. He doesn't realize the thing he's supposed to kill is an ordinary house cat, but the cat is not your ordinary cat. And it's another cat and mouse story, although the hitman becomes the mouse. And it's a super scary horror story, really cool. He wrote it when he was really young, and this is the first time he's published it. He's published it years and years after he first wrote it. The final story I'm going to talk about is a story simply titled N, the letter N. It's about a psychiatrist who comes across another psychiatrist friend of his case files and finds the file of a patient that the psychiatrist has simply named N. Now, N has a problem obsessive compulsive disorder where he has to count things, touch things, but the thing he has to do this to save the world, because there's creatures on the other side of our universe trying to get through, and if he doesn't do it, they will break through and they will take over the world. It's a very scary homage to H.P. Lovecraft's stories and his elder gods that he always writes about. And Stephen King manages to write a really scary horror story. I'd love it if they made N into a film, which, being Stephen King, strong possibility they'll do that one day. So that's it. I just talked about them 4, and as far as the rest of them go, you'll have to read it yourself. So take it easy, take care of one another, and remember, if you don't read books, bad things will happen to you. Take care.